Hi, I'm Phil Hall for Tech Radar and we're here to talk about Fujifilm's latest camera, the X-H1. Despite the X-H1 being Fujifilm's new flagship camera, it shares many of the same features as the X-T2. That includes the 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor. The biggest difference though is the addition of in-body image stabilization, or IBIS for short. This is a feature that allows the X-H1 to use a shutter speed that's 5 stops slower than is normally possible to compensate for any unwanted camera movement. It's a feature that a lot of X-series shooters have been crying out for, and I'm sure they'll be pleased to see this on the X-H1. That's not all, as Fujifilm's also equipped the X-H1 with a shutter suspension system. This allows the camera to absorb any unwanted violent movements when taking a shot. Another standout feature that separates the X-H1 from the X-T2 is the camera's video capabilities. Both can shoot standard 4K, but the new X-H1 can shoot cinema 4K at 24p as well. Moving away from the actual features of the X-H1, perhaps the biggest differences are in the design ethos. Compared to the X-T2, it's a much bigger affair. It borrows a similar sized grip to that of the GFX50S, Fujifilm's medium format camera, and it gets the little LCD display on the top plate as well. So that does mean though that the X-H1 doesn't have an exposure compensation dial like the X-T2. It gets the same fiddly kind of exposure compensation button and command dial movement, which is, to be honest, a bit of a faff to use. Overall, the X-H1 is quite a bulky camera. The large grip means it's pretty similar in size to something like a Nikon D500. For some though, that'll be an advantage, especially if you're going to be using longer lenses where the balance is that bit better. Existing Fujifilm users should feel right at home with the X-H1 because many of the controls are where you expect them to be. There's the welcome addition of an AF on button for some nice back button focusing techniques, but overall it's a very easy camera to get to grips with. So as far as image quality goes, there's no nasty surprises, as we've seen this 24 megapixel sensor in numerous other Fujifilm cameras recently. So what you do get is really nicely detailed images with nice colour rendition. It's a little bit disappointing to see the ISO range is fairly limited compared to some rivals, but what it does do is handle noise really well up to say 6400. You can happily shoot at that sensitivity. Dynamic range is also really impressive, especially if you're shooting RAW files where you can really pull back loads of highlight and shadow detail. So the X-H1, we're a little bit disappointed to see that Fujifilm hasn't really extended the feature set over the X-T2 that much. Certainly welcome to see in-body image stabilization, but we reckon Fujifilm could have done more to separate it from the X-T2. Then there's the bulk. Some people are going to love it because it means using longer lenses, the balance is going to be better, but we think it's just a little bit too bulky for an X-series camera. It just loses some of the charm that's made us love cameras like the X-T2 so much. So to sum up, the X-H1 is a very good camera, but it's not quite a great one like the X-T2. For more on the X-H1, you can read our full review at techradar.com. Thanks for watching.